But first, an urgent missing child alert. Genny May Krohn is 12 years old. Genny was last seen riding her bike on Wednesday in Gulf Breeze, Florida, about 5 miles east of Pensacola. She was wearing a pink and blue flower shirt with bright blue shorts and socks and white tennis shoes. If you've seen Genny, please call.
You're watching a miracle, the kind we don't see often enough, and one a lot of people will never forget. 12-year-old Genny Krohn reunited with her family 3 days after being kidnapped at gunpoint. With all the missing children we profile here at America's Most Wanted, the sad truth is we don't have many happy endings. That's why Genny's so special. This week I traveled to Gulf Breeze, Florida, to see this brave little girl and her grateful family. Genny told me her story.
Well, I was going down the Bayshore Road, and this guy was on a motorcycle, and he kept, he passed me 2 or 3 times going up and down the street, and once he told me my tire's flat, and I knew that, and so I went down, kept going down the street, and he stopped me and he pointed a gun at me.
Genny says the man ordered her on his motor scooter and then drove off. Not much you could do.
No. I know about not talking to strangers, but you can't ignore somebody that kidnapped you because, yeah. I asked him how far we were going. He said, oh, we're just going for a little ride. I'll bring you back. And I said, well, how far are we going? He said, not too far. And I was like, liar.
I was coming home from some business in town, and I noticed Genny's bike laying by the side of the road, halfway between the convenience store and our house. But I noticed she had a flat tire, so I said, well, she got a flat tire, put the bike down, and went somewhere. Maybe she's getting help. And I was a little relieved, but until I got back home, and my kids told me, well, she was riding it with a flat tire. So then I said, well, something's not right here. And that's about when we called the Santa Rosa County Sheriff's Department.
When it got to be dark, I knew that Genny would really be concerned because she isn't comfortable in the dark, and I knew that she'd be afraid and that she would want to come home.
That night, more than 60 volunteers combed the nearby woods searching for little Genny. You get through the night. The next day, the sun comes up. What were you thinking about?
Well, I was thinking how she's still gone, and she's probably been through, and no matter what happened to her, she'd had a very bad night. And it was hard that morning. I was still very upset, of course.
It was real hard not to let your mind go down some real dark alleys.
Everybody ready? Yeah, let's do it.
The next day, the community responded in force. Scores of volunteers combed nearby woods. The sheriff's department set up a command center, and local TV and radio ran bulletins.
Good evening. The search for Genny Krohn resumes tomorrow morning in Gulf Breeze.
Neighbors Kitty and Jack Lockridge put their printing business on hold and began printing thousands of posters.
It was a real network of people joined together to find a 12-year-old little girl that they didn't know, but was family to them at that point.
Day 3, Friday. Lots of police believe the longer the case goes on, the less the odds are that you'll get a happy ending. How did you feel on Friday?
Friday was a little tougher, really. By Thursday, we'd gotten posters all over the local area. The local TV coverage had given us a blitz. Genny's picture had been on the front page of the newspaper. And then I start doubting that we're going to find her locally because we haven't yet, and eventually the media is going to let go of it and go on to some other stories, so I was getting a little nervous.
Meanwhile, as the search was underway, Genny was tied up and hidden in a camper in this RV park, only 20 miles from her home near Milton, Florida. He had you for a couple days. Were you scared?
Yeah.
What were you thinking about?
Thinking about my mom and dad, how much I wanted to go see them.
Genny says her abductor was nervous that someone in the camp might recognize her.
He knew if anybody was standing in front of that camper that he said he was going to take me out there and beat me like I was his own child.
So you stayed very cool.
Yeah.
You were very brave. On that same day, Friday, America's Most Wanted was contacted by the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. Within hours, we had a photo and a home video of Jenny in our studios.
If you've seen Jenny, please call.
That same afternoon, Jenny and her abductor were on the move. He took Jenny to Mobile, Alabama, to this motel. Jenny says her abductor was growing increasingly nervous about all the publicity.
He said I was on America's Most Wanted.
He knew that your case was on America's Most Wanted.
I think that made us very hopeful, don't you?
Yeah, we were more hopeful. Already people were keeping their eyes open and looking and trying to be helpful. You know, so now it had grown from a community effort to a Northwest Florida effort to a Southeast effort to a national effort. So that was encouraging.
The heat was on. Police say Jenny's abductor panicked. He drove back to the Pensacola area, bought her a bike at a pawn shop, then dropped her near this convenience store with a warning.
When he let you off, when he decided to let you go, what did you do?
Well, he said he had a hitman, so of course I believed it, and I just rode right to the convenience store. I didn't do anything else, because of course when somebody says they have a hitman and it's your first time being kidnapped, you know, they're like, I was like frozen faster, you know, that's pedaling really fast.
And you got to the convenience store and you thought, what am I gonna do?
Well, I just, started playing around with the phones. I was trying to get them work because I didn't know I had to call collect from Pensacola to Gulf Breeze, because I'd never called from Pensacola to Gulf Breeze.
Jenny's brother Matthew answered the phone.
But it was one of those weird voicemail things where they were saying dial 1 to accept charges or something. And I didn't know if it was a call or a sales call or what. And I finally got a live operator, and when I found out who it was, I handed the phone to my dad.
Yeah, Matthew wasn't all that clear. He thought it was Jerry Corin, somebody like that. But I said, it's got to be Jenny. So I grabbed the phone. Hello? Daddy? Hear this little voice. I was so happy. Jenny, where are you? Is anybody with you?
The word soon reached neighbors and the hundreds of volunteers who had been searching for 3 long days and nights. They waited at the Krohn house for hours while Jenny told police what happened. Finally, a joyous reunion no one will ever forget. The kidnapper was still on the loose, but police had begun closing in, thanks to incredibly detailed information supplied by 12-year-old Jenny.
Well, every second that I had, I wrote down everything I could about him. His license plate number, his name, his description, what tattoos he had, what they were, what they looked like, if his ear was pierced, stuff like that.
So you drew some of the tattoos and memorized them?
It's like a dagger with a ribbon around it, and there's his elbow, so it's like right here.
On his left arm?
Yeah, left arm.
And that's the license plate, and you showed that to police. So you got a great memory because you still remember it. And that worked.
They caught him within 24 hours.
I've never seen this before in a situation such as this. Something this traumatic with a 12-year-old child, it may be several days before you're able to get any information from them that you can really work on.
The sheriffs flashed information about the black camper and U-Haul van to neighboring states. The next morning, Sunday, motel manager Elizabeth Borman told police the U-Haul was in her parking lot in Tillman's Corner, Alabama. She watched as FBI agents approached the van.
They jumped into the truck and just scuffled and got him down, face down. And at that point in time, this long wig that he had on came off with his hat.
Agents arrested 28-year-old Granville Stephen Pinion and charged him with kidnapping. Court records indicate Pinion was charged in 1986 for trying to abduct a 15-year-old girl in a custody battle. Like others in the area, Pinion's own family was closely following the case. They were shocked to hear the name of the kidnapper.
Why? Why a little girl? Why anybody? You know, if he was lonely, why didn't he come to his family? That's the main thing that we're all asking is why.
Agents say Pinion lived in this rundown trailer in Theodore, Alabama. He was unemployed and estranged from his wife. Pinion is now in a Pensacola jail awaiting trial. Things are getting back to normal at the Krohn house. Family wants to thank the hundreds of heroes who searched the woods, printed and distributed the posters, and the deputies who worked nonstop. A whole community drawn together to bring a little girl home. It's rare to see an entire community go all out to bring a child home. Everyone played an important role, but special credit goes to the Santa Rosa County Sheriff's Department. They pulled it all together and proved that they really cared. Jenny's parents had recent photos, and even better, a videotape of Jenny. That made the difference in getting her home safe. If you don't have your own video camera, you can go to any Blockbuster video store from now till the end of June. They'll make a tape of your child for free. No parent wants to think about this nightmare, but if your child is ever missing, call the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children or our hotline. Tonight, there are 2 more children who need your help. You just saw how it can make a difference, so please pay close attention to this missing child report.
Have you seen Lemoyne Allen and Bernice Jones? These 3-year-olds have been missing since May 10th. The toddlers disappeared while playing outside a rural store on Mississippi Highway 4 near Woodville. Lemoyne has scars on both knees and was wearing a light blue tank top, dark blue and black shorts, and black tennis shoes. Bernice was wearing a one-piece red and pink floral sunsuit, pink sandals, and orange and purple barrettes in her hair. Please, call if you know anything.